Hello everyone, and welcome back to the RENSO'n'sYard. This is our new to us JCB 190T track steer, and we got it in exchange for older model. First impressions, this is really nice. really nice compared to the old one. First of all, we got a real insulated cab now with full glass. A lot more room on the inside. And the engine is also much easier to access.
So the first impression is that finally the cab has been made when they start to build up the machine. It's not something that has been added up after. First of all, this is air seat. We have a decent cushion, but plus we have the suspension on air. You can adjust back and forth the seat, or you can adjust back and forth the entire console. So basically, you can move the entire seat with all the command that's coming back and forward, depending on what you're looking for. So on the right hand side, you have all the gauges. Obviously, you have engine temperature, fuel, and hydraulic temperature. The parking is here. Every time you want to move the machine, you have to press on P, which is remove the parking brakes. Here you can control the RPM from the engine. It's electronic, and you have the same, obviously, throttle control on the floor. It's up to you. If you're not moving for more than 5 seconds, it's going to turn back in echo, which is it's go back automatically in idling. As soon as you want to move any piece of equipment, it's going to resume to the RPM that you had previously. You can operate your lights. You can as well select it if you want to have the bucket that is floating or not, depending on what you want. And if you just want to make sure that nothing can move, you can keep the engines running. You can have the hydraulic flow running, but all the controls going to be locked. You can lock this on with the button here. Here it's different option. These two knobs here, it's to unlock and lock the bucket that you can put on the front. So unlock is going to release the pins, lock is going to lock the pins, so you're going to keep the bottom in place. When you're traveling at high speed, you have a suspension, so the bucket won't be as hard, it's more comfortable, you can activate that thing. The blower, the fan on the engine, has the abilities to reverse the flow, so it can clean the rad by itself. If it doesn't work on automatic, you can press here, it's going to make an extra cleanup, so that's manual control for the blower to reverse the flow. That's if you want to use the high flow hydraulic, you have to select it and start right here when you're ready to go. As soon as you press for the bottom to keep it running at high speed, it's going to work. You have two choices for the control on the steering and the hydraulic control. It's up to you. And here we have the four-way flashers. So you've got the right hand control. This is to move and operate basically the implements. So you can lift and lower your load. You can tilt and roll back for the bucket. Here it's mainly for traveling control. So it's going to go forward and reverse if you want to go to the right, if you want to go to the left. Here underneath there is one button that can use quite often. It's the 2-speed. So you can click once and it's going to travel at low speed. Then you can click on it a second and it's going to go on second speed.
On this side it's the same thing. Everything is more accessible than it used to be. We also get a full-size window instead of just the half window with a metal grill on top of it. And the last difference you'll notice is here on the lift arm. This has now a parallel lift instead of a radial lift. So there's multiple pivot points instead of just one. And as we'll demonstrate, the arm lifts up straight up. see how the front of the bucket stays at the same distance from the cab, regardless of the height. Whereas the older model, it would go in an arc. Here you also see that this cylinder is a lot bigger than the other one used to be, and it's vertical instead of being in the long horizontal position. So the lifting strength is actually a bit more than the older model used to have. Okay, now let's take a look at the engine bay, which is very easy to access. Now the back panel opens, and so does the radiator grille here, compared to the older model where you had to take half the engine apart just to change a fan belt. So this engine is the same model and horsepower as the 180 we had previously, but now everything is in one location. So you have your fuel filter, the windshield washers here, the air filter, oil filter, and you can check your oil level right in here. So if you want to be specific about technical specs on this, well, it's rated as 60 horsepower at the engine with 140 foot-pounds of torque. Same thing as the older models. The big difference between these newer versions and the older models is in the the lifting capacity. So this unit is rated at 1,900 pounds of operating capacity, but the maximum tipping load is 5,429 pounds. So that's how much you can lift before it actually starts to tip over. The hydraulic flow is rated at 18.5 gallons per minute, and when you activate the high flow, that goes up to 26.4. And the low travel speed is 9 kilometers per hour, and the high travel speed goes up to 12.6 kilometers per hour. In miles per hour, that's 5.6 and 7.8. So it's real nice to have the two travel speeds, the low speed when you're working on the job site, and the high speed to get between locations quickly.
So this is the hydraulic. You have the control, same connectors for high and low flow. The good thing with that is that if you have too much pressure in the line, all you gotta do is push on it and it's gonna release the entire pressure, then you can hook it up. This is a free flow return if you have some kind of motor that needs a lot of oil.
And looking at the front connection plate here, we still have a standard skid steer attachment, but for this edition, the cylinders is a bit bigger, so a bit stronger, and we now have electric quick attach for the implements. Whereas the older models was a manual quick attach, now it's all electric, and you can see in one of our other video, which is going to be linked up there, when we replaced the cylinder here, which was damaged when we received this unit. First we unlock the controls. Notice how the red tab will turn as I lock it. There we go. They're now fully locked. I'll go our first impression and review of our new JCB 190T. I hope you guys learned something interesting, and if you have some questions, definitely leave them